Welcome back to another episode of It's Go Time.
On today's episode, we have Gary Winn, a man of many interests. The way we met was kind of wild, how I met you. But before getting into the whole podcast, if I left my house this morning, I want to ask y'all if you guys ever done something like this in the morning. So I'm leaving my house. I get in my car. I'm driving down here. And I go, did I put deodorant on this morning? Does that happen to any of y'all? How often? Do you go back in the house?
No, I'll tell you how experienced I am in that.
Okay.
I have deodorant at work. I have deodorant in my go bag at work. I have deodorant in my truck. I have spray deodorant in case you forget your deodorant and I smell you and I'm like, dude, I've got some deodorant in my truck.
I love that, Gary.
That is smart.
That Dove Men's Care.
Yeah.
Spray on deodorant. Hey, bro, I got you in the car, bro.
So what I did for me this morning, I realized I did put it on. I did the two arms.
Did the check?
Yeah, and it was on there. So
It was good.
it was a little nerve-wracking, though, because I'm like, man, can you imagine going in, doing a podcast, sitting down, having to move, and then you realize
So I don't use conventional deodorant.
Wait, what?
I use a crystal.
A crystal?
Yes. So you get this crystal rock. So you buy it from Sprouts or Whole Food.
I have not.
Bro.
I have
Yeah.
never
Are you
heard
one
of
those
that.
holistic people?
Yeah. Because there's so
Really?
many.
He
there's so
might be
many-
safer.
Yeah.
There's so many parabens and hard metals in normal deodorant that it's not good for you. So
Yeah, they're trying to connect aluminum with Alzheimer's from using deodorant
from using
all of your
deodorant,
life.
all of it, exactly.
Whoa.
Heavy metals, so a lot of heavy metals. So I've converted into this crystal that you buy. You just rinse it in the morning and you apply it,
Huh.
and you're good to go. It takes your body about 2 weeks. So yes, you will smell for about 2 weeks, but after that, it's
But you're talking like a deodorant, not an antiperspirant. And the aluminums are in the antiperspirant.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically what
Yeah.
I stick on the mouth.
Huh.
Have you ever seen the stainless steel bar of soap?
Stainless
Yes,
steel
I
bar.
have.
Yeah,
soap.
you have
I
that.
have
My
it.
mom
No, I
has
don't
some.
have it,
my
but-
mom has some at her house. You can wash your hands with the stainless steel, shaped like a bar of soap, and it takes the odors. Like if you're cooking,
Really?
if you're cleaning with like if you're cutting onions,
Yeah.
garlic, jalapeno peppers, basically any pungent aroma, anything that
And
you're
it just
doing in the
takes it off.
kitchen, to wash your hands with a stainless steel bar of soap.
Does it work though?
Wow.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
It's like crazy.
Huh.
Yeah.
And then you
No
just put
idea
it on.
why. I don't know. Maybe the water and the stainless steel
Yeah.
mixing with whatever's on your hands just takes the odor away.
Huh. That's interesting. I never. The crystal thing. That's something that I didn't even know about.
I had
So that's
no clue.
new. I use
But that was the first thing I thought of. He's rubbing crystals on his armpits.
I was like, what do you?
Let's see if I can one up him with a stainless steel bar of soap.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, as I was saying earlier, obviously, Gary, I met you via door knocking, and that is my means of getting business in real estate. When I met you and your wife, April, I thought you guys were amazing. So, prior to us going into the whole how I met you and stuff like that, let the viewers know a little bit about yourself, what it is that you do, where you grew up and stuff along those lines.
Oh man, let's see if I can summarize.
Okay.
All right.
let's do
First off, my name is Gary.
Yeah.
I thought it was Will. I thought it was Will.
No.
No. Okay.
No. This from a man, you had to tell me your name 3 times and spell it. I'm just Gary.
I love it.
You're
I love it.
Mahata.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm probably not even enunciating the T sound
You shit doesn't have a
properly.
click in
Mahata.
No, right?
Yeah. No, I was born and raised in Dallas,
Nice.
and either in Dallas, outskirts of Dallas, went to school in Dallas, left Dallas because I couldn't stand Dallas anymore, came back to Dallas because I missed it. Now I'm happier I'm back in Dallas. I'm going to say Dallas 5 more times.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, I see that skyline. I miss it. So I'm like, hey, I'm back, beautiful. Here I am. I go to Houston, and that makes me miss Dallas traffic. So I go to Austin, and that makes me miss the skyline. I'm glad to be back. The things that I do allow me to get around everywhere, see other sites. I do commercial carpentry for a company called 44 Build out of Dallas, and we touch like all over the state of Texas. Trying to keep it more local lately, but we've been doing Austin, San Antonio, Austin again, Houston. 3 jobs going on in Houston, and then we finally clear those up and we're moving on to another city. And then now we're just like trying to build up as much clientele in Dallas so we can stay close, you know. And
In the commercial space, Gary, where are you seeing a lot of the work? Is it in the retail space, office space?
office space.
Office space.
More specifically, we had a really good client out of Common Desk,
Okay. Okay.
and we did a lot of work for them. We did so much work, we pretty much took every reason they have for building new stuff because they have so much now.
Right,
You know, so we're going with smaller gigs, and that allows us the ability to focus on what we really enjoy, which is like smaller scale fabrication.
Yeah.
And I say we, this is not my company.
Okay.
I'm just a worker bee there, you know, so if my boss is listening, I don't mean we as in you, I mean like we as in y'all, you know.
Right, yeah. I understand.
But like we were talking earlier about a podcast booth that you saw, and I was like, man, I like that, so I took a picture of it. But the majority of the stuff that we did for Common Desk was like reception areas and break rooms and the cabinet making and stuff like that. But like the what's it good? The hallways, the individual offices, we set up the storefronts for them, whether it's metal or wood. And you were wanting some pictures earlier of my artwork, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But man, I've got a ton of pictures of some of the stuff that 44 has done, and I'll be happy to show those off too.
Yeah.
A worker bee, not my company, but man, I like what we do.
How did you get into commercial carpentry?
I needed a job.
Okay. Of course.
That was the best
We
way
all
to
do,
get it. Okay, so for years, I tried to make some money doing artwork.
Okay.
I got into mural making,
Yeah.
mural painting, and while that's fun, it wasn't lucrative for me.
Okay.
You know, I had plenty of opportunities, but a lot of people were like, "You want how much for that? My cousin Tony can do it for half that," and I'll just go to your cousin Tony because that's not what I charge.
Yeah.
And so I went from that to cooking in restaurants because I love to cook. You know, I'm not a chef, but
Right.
you know, I love to cook. And then one day, the guy that I was working for had a side business in construction and remodeling, and he came in complaining about something that one of his workers were doing, or they couldn't figure out how to finish something. And I was like, "Well, what about this?" And they're like, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, "It's just simple." It was like, "Do you know how to do that?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "All right, tomorrow, come with me." And we went and I knocked it out. We walked into a situation where the man was opening up a box and started putting something together and was just grabbing screws from whatever and putting it on. And I came in and I pulled out the instructions and I sat down.
Right.
And he's like, "What are you doing?" This thing needs to get built. And I was like, "It needs to get built right."
Yeah, correct.
So I start paging through the instructions, and that's how I got into that. I actually have a background in apartment flipping because that's how I grew up.
Wow.
That was how I made summer money. That was how I made weekend money. And so a lot of these things that they were doing was common knowledge. I thought it was common knowledge. You know, before you paint a room, you take the plates off the wall.
Exactly.
You know? You know, you put something on the floor to keep paint from getting on there, but they're hiring people that don't know how to do that.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
if you're going to build
So it's
something,
just the simple things.
yeah, the simple things, just you know, the little details that take a little bit of work, how to clean up after yourself while you're doing a job, so you're not causing more damage or creating hazards or just tripping over stuff that could have been put up 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
So that was how I got into it. You know, I had a history of doing it, not realizing that it was a skill that I could make money doing, even though I did that growing up.
Yeah.
You know, but it was like a kid job, you know, and I never wanted to be like an outdoor construction framer walking on high-rise buildings. I never wanted to do that. I don't have a head for heights. But you put me in a wood shop, oh man, I can build some shit.
Oh, that's awesome,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, I
that's
love
very
that. I love
Okay,
that.
so
man.
that's how you got into it.
Yeah, we were they were installing a glass sliding shower door.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And it was for a shower, not for a tub. But the box clearly showed a glass shower door for a tub.
Oh, man.
So imagine walking into a bathroom and seeing this dude. I'm going to call him a dude, not an idiot. I'm going to give him a benefit of the doubt. But imagine seeing this dude installing a tub shower door, which is 4 feet of space, onto a space that needs to be about 6 feet.
Oh, man.
I don't know how tall you are, but I believe that you don't want to duck to get into a shower.
No, you don't. No.
There might be a little person out there going, that'd be perfect for me. Yeah, but so would a tall one.
So what did you do when you saw that?
I pointed it out, and I was like, man, this isn't even the right thing for this. This guy had pulled it out of the box, started piecing together. He knew exactly what he was doing because he's done it 100 times.
But knowing that, I mean, shouldn't he know that you can't put a tub door in?
Common sense isn't common.
I love that. Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
You can put that on a wall somewhere. If you hire me, I'll paint it as a mural on your wall.
Okay. Common sense is not common.
Common sense is not common. You can't assume someone knows something that you do.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can't assume that someone will read something that's plain as day right in front of them. You know, and that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
I think what I'm just getting from that's one of the things people are missing out on, just that common sense. And you're absolutely right. You know, people kind of mosey through life thinking they know everything and assuming that we all know exactly what it is that you're talking about, this person's talking about, and we're all oblivious to the fact. But there's a few things I want to kind of unravel and, you know, focus on as far as your life, because you sound relatively pretty interesting. And I say that because, I mean, you just, from the gentleman that you met that didn't really know your background in carpentry and stuff like that, and you have the knowledge and the will, how did that come about? How did the enthusiasm for wanting to take suit? I know you mentioned, obviously, for summer jobs, you worked within apartments and stuff like that. Where did that love of carpentry and building things with your hands and being intact with tools and stuff like that? Because I took shop class when I was in high school, and I was worried about cutting my hand on a bandsaw. So how did your love for that come about?
Okay, I'll answer that by starting off with a question.
Okay.
All right. Have you ever done anything and completed it and felt that sense of accomplishment?
Yeah.
In anything that you have ever done in your life? Have you ever felt that?
Yes. When I was young, my favorite sport growing up was skateboarding. So that was my love. And learning a trick. So obviously skateboarding, you start off from pushing, learning how to ride a board, and then you get into learning a trick. The first trick you ever learn will be an ollie. And after an ollie, you learn your flip tricks. So I remember it was summer of, I want to say probably 2007, and I was in the back of, in Vegas, we call it Albertsons. Here we call it Kroger. So I was in the back of Albertsons, and I was there for literally 9 hours trying to learn one trick. Beat up my shins, messed up my wrist, tore up my ankle. But when I landed that trick, the elation that came from it was one thing that I've never experienced before. So I don't know if that kind of answered your question in a sense.
No, you gave me the perfect answer. Now I'm going to lead off from that.
Okay.
After you accomplished that, were you done?
No,
you had another task in mind, right? You wanted, and then that you wanted to repeat that feeling of accomplishment.
Yep.
All right. I found something that I could do and get that feeling of accomplishment. All right. Whether it's I'm putting up a single shelf with no brackets, nothing visible, a floating shelf. All right. I had never done that before. I don't know how to do it. I might look it up on YouTube. I don't necessarily like the way that person does it, so I keep finding videos. This is something that I can do, I am capable of. I've got the experience to do that, but I've never done that. So I'm looking for that next accomplishment. When I complete the task and I hang it on the wall and it's nice and level and I put my stuff up there and it doesn't fall down, I feel that same accomplishment as if I've done a backside 360. You know, never done that. I could probably practice and get to that point and break half the bones of my body doing it, but this was an easier way to not go to the doctor's office and the ER to get that feeling of accomplishment simply by hanging that shelf on the wall. And if I do two back to back and they both end up great, cool. And if I do another one, another set, different kind of wood. I love being able to say that I did that. The pictures that you see of my artwork, I get that feeling of accomplishment when I complete something. But when I build something, especially when it's a new experience, I've never built anything like this before. I'm going to build it and see what it can do. And then when it comes out, dude, that's my kickflip. That's me getting that sense of accomplishment. So that's my drug of choice. I'm going to seek another hit. Yes. And then another. Then another.
Yeah.
Luckily, I found somebody that will pay me to do that. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm in commercial carpentry. I'm a worker bee for someone else. Even at almost 50, I would love to just step away from that and do something else. And guess what? The something else is opening up a little shop where I can build stuff and make money off of that. That would be awesome. I don't actually get too many opportunities to build something for myself. When I do, I feel that same accomplishment. But, dude, I'm just building a generic cabinet to go in someone's office or their kitchen or their break room. And I like the fact that when I put it together, I can sit back and it's level. It lines up. It looks great. These drawers open and close like they're supposed to. Now, true, I may put something together and like things hit the way they're not supposed to, or they don't line up. And I'm, all right, I got to back up, take it apart, figure out what I did wrong, do it again. This is supposed to be a 16th, not this. So I can fix that. Even though I've made mistakes along the way, that was my practice. That was my broken ankles, my broken shin, my messed up wrists, you know, that dizzy spell that I got looking down at the, you know, all of that. And I still work towards that sense of accomplishment because that is my next goal. I don't care what it is. Everybody has that. They want to feel that sense of accomplishment. That's why they pursue the things that they do. I can't imagine a I don't know if professional is the right term, a well-educated, experienced doctor coming out of neurosurgery, and the guy gets up, walks around, and says, "Thank you, doc. I appreciate that." That's got to be a hellified sense of accomplishment.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what are you going to do? I did a kickflip.
Yeah.
You know? It feels the same.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. And it didn't cost me $100,000 in student debt to get it done.
That's
so
true.
I feel that.
You mentioned that, you know, obviously you would like to build something for yourself. What exactly, if you were to build something for yourself, what would you be building for yourself?
A couch, headboard, queen size bed, built-in side tables. I'd like to have a floating shelf above the bed to have the pictures and the lights. I'd like to have the lights hanging down from it. I would love to do a fluted ceiling, different, because I love to work with different paints and textures. I mean, how long are we going to sit here? Because I have a list, bro.
You know? Like I said.
Yeah.
So when
I was very, I'm going to interrupt and I'll apologize for that later.
Fine.
But dude, I'm really tempted to take a month off from work when we get this new house so that I can build a shop.
That is awesome,
you know,
man.
And I've got designs. I've got ideas. They probably won't come to fruition, but they're there. You know, the excitement is building because I might be building.
Yeah.
You know? All right.
Well,
I'll stop interrupting.
When I walked into your home at the time when you guys were getting, you know, ready. So the backstory on, I didn't go fully into it. So it was a few months ago. I think it was the beginning of the year when I met you in April.
I don't think it was that far back.
It was probably around like...
No, because so we sold the house mid-April.
Okay.
And we hadn't even listed it until May. So I'm sorry, May is after April, March.
Okay.
March. So I think it was like late February, early March that we started. So I guess it was beginning of the year.
So beginning of the year, the weather was good. I'm walking out and, you know, with the cowboy hat on. Mid-February. Thank you.
I like that.
Management came in and corrected me.
So mid-February, come in, I'm walking, and, you know, one thing that I'm taking from your story is the thought of accomplishing and completing your task, right? So as I'm walking, I'm like, man, I'm dreading this. Literally, I've knocked on 100-something doors in your neighborhood, and I was dreading the fact of, you know, I got a couple more doors because I told myself my number was I had to get about 150 doors that day. So I'm going up, and I think you guys may have been number 120 something or whatever it is. So I'm looking at my time. I'm like, man, everyone I've spoken to has been mad, or they just wasn't interested in what I was trying to say. So I knock on the door. I meet his lovely wife, April. She invites me in. We get to talking. She stated that she had an agent and she was selling the home. And then they offer me a soda. Do you remember the soda you offered me?
Sprite.
A Sprite. Yeah. And there's a story behind the whole Sprite thing that his wife didn't know about. She was kind of shocked when we laughed about it. But when I walked in, I saw the kitchen. It was such a done remodel kitchen. And I was surprised that you guys actually did it yourself. And you see like the amount of, you could talk more about it than I can if you want to kind of share it in details, how and some of the work that you guys did within the kitchen and stuff like that.
So when you came into our house, we were still wrapping up. Mm-hmm. All right. We weren't wrapping up everything on our list to do on that house. We got a lot of it done, but it was not. Our original goal with that house was to make it what we wanted. This is our house. This is what we want. This is everything that we want to do to it. We got let's say about halfway. Okay. Now, you saw it at the end. You didn't see it at the beginning. The beginning was about 2 years prior. And we had the keys to that house 30 days before we moved in. So I took that opportunity to spend the first 30 days tearing everything out of that house that I felt I could get away with tearing out. All the popcorn came off, all the flooring came out, some of the paneling on the walls came out. The kitchen came out.
The whole kitchen?
The whole kitchen. Well, okay, to a point. Okay, yeah. All right, so what we had was a galley kitchen, like three-sided rectangle. Yeah. And it felt cramped. There's 2 people in that is not good. She and I like to be in. We work well in the kitchen together. Sometimes we can bump into each other, so it's not necessarily we like being in the kitchen together, but we can work in the kitchen together, and I like that. Yeah. And but that was a really small, cramped space, so I took out that wall. Okay. And in taking out that wall, the space above the cabinets, we call them fur boxes. They're just filler, empty spaces, empty space. Yeah. All that got taken out, which opened up the ceiling. And I'm like, I'm not going to leave this one little thing. So all the ceiling came out and actually widened the way the ceiling went. And then, like right before it started getting warm, like the day before it got warm, like windows open, no air conditioning. It feels great. I'm in there working. Tomorrow's going to be hot. Yeah. We're going to need air conditioning. We can see attic space. Okay. So I need to take some of the fear that she's feeling. See the sky, okay? There was no attic space. I could see the sky.
Breezing.
It was like right before my birthday, and I was working with a nice guy. I worked at home, and I'm like, babe, it's going to be hot. It's going to hit 90. I need a ceiling and AC. Thank you, bye.
So you needed a ceiling and AC.
So I put in the last screw in.
Basically, you needed a roof.
Nice. Yes. Yeah. So we had AC the next day that it was hot.
Okay, good.
So we had air conditioning.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay. That kitchen,
that's what matters.
Yeah. The kitchen took a lot of time. It didn't get done in the first 30 days. Okay. The first 30 days was the rip out, tear out. But we went from idea planning quite seriously. The kitchen got tore up, and then we started making plans.
Wow.
Yeah, it wasn't, let's have a cohesive idea, have a shopping list of everything that we need. We'll take in consideration this and this and this. And I was like, no, we're just going to tear it out and go from there. Because I won't know what's under it until it comes out. Then once I know that, then I can start making like actual decisions. Can we move this or that? And so it was a risk, but I was confident enough in my experiences that I would be able to do that. I would not do this at your house. I would not do this at your house. There would be a cohesive plan in place. This is what's going to happen each step of the way. On this house, it was gut it and go.
And we'll show pictures of that too, because I really want the viewers to see some of the work that you did in your home. I mean, just the fact that it was you and your wife that did it, and it wasn't some outside source.
I have a picture in that collection of like before and after. I didn't take any video. I didn't record it. I wasn't going for a YouTube channel. I just wanted a nice kitchen.
Yeah. But so we'll show some pictures of that, and want to get back to the whole art side of things. So
before we get to the art side, I want to hear from Gary. What was your take when Mihata walked?
Yeah, when I knocked on your door.
Because the first
You
time
want
I have
that
someone,
POV?
Yeah,
You want
first time I have someone here that Mihata knocked on the door.
Except that's incorrect.
Okay.
All right, he was not the first person that has knocked on the door.
Okay, very good. Okay.
So
give me.
I'll give you a little bit of background.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
She and I both handle unsolicited communication differently. All right. When you came up to knock on the door, had I answered the door, I would have stepped out and started speaking to you. Mainly because I have a dog and his barking drives me nuts every time someone rings our doorbell. All right. Now, you already being in the house, that's not unusual.
Okay.
We've had people coming to sell solar, and that we took in like fully into consider. I thought you were someone trying to sell a solar. Well, sorry, bud, we sold the house.
Yeah.
Or we're in the process of selling it. But we're very comfortable talking to people because we know they're people. Okay. And we've both interacted with people enough that we can treat them as people and still get what we want out of it. If we don't want to have a conversation with you, we will politely let you know that this is not a good time. When's a good time? It's not going to be a good time. I appreciate you coming by. I will step out. Hey, sorry, bud, we sold the house. Or just real curiosity about what it is that you have to offer us. You walked up, you're wanting, if I remember correctly, you were looking for houses to sell.
That was my closing point. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I don't know what her, I don't know what her idea was, but it quite possibly was that, well, let's see what this guy has to offer. And if it sounds better than the one we're working with, we may reconsider. She's shaking her head no. I got the box seats up there telling me that, no, I'm incorrect. That's okay. I'm just telling you what I feel.
Okay.
All right. Now, so...
outside and talked to Mahata, and I did step outside. He did not come in, and yes, Gary. And he said, I'm going around the neighborhood looking at houses possibly to sell. And I said, well, unfortunately, we already have a realtor, and that, but you're welcome to come in. Bye.
Okay. Management stepped in.
Love you, babe.
Love you too, baby.
Be quiet.
So I spoke to
So
April.
to answer your question, I came in from whatever it was I'm doing, and I don't recall what that was. Came in, and hey, here's a strange man in the house.
Yeah.
Again,
With the
not
cowboy
unusual. Not. Did you have the cowboy hat on?
I did have a cowboy hat on. I have it in my car too. I was gonna wear it on the podcast, but I got my hair done today, and I will be wearing it later on. So I was like, nah, let me
Oh
leave
man,
it
last
in
time
the
I got my hair cut, the dude butchered me, so I had to just buzz it off.
car. I want to show.
Oh,
off the nice dude.
that's a story. So if I don't know if it, but it's choppy.
Oh, really?
It is choppy.
Looks
I
good.
have long, luscious red locks going on, and I
Flowing
went
in the wind.
I went in. I tried this guy out, and I think there was a communication issue. I told him this is what I'm wanting. This is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, let's do this. So I get in. I get done. I'm looking at it. Man, it's awesome. He did me great. I drove 5 minutes from there back to the house to pick them up. We're fixing to go somewhere, and why is it so, immediately anger came up because this man cut way too high, cut too much. I'm already going bald back there. That's the last thing.
man.
So anyway, I'm upset that my hair's cut wrong,
Yeah.
but I'm like thinking back, what did I ask for? What did I tell him? It's got to be anyway. So I picked them up, and then we're getting ready to go to some water park or something with the kiddo. And I'm like, all right, I got to make a stop. Go in. I leave them outside. I go in. I'm like, hey, do you have a number 4 and a 1/4-inch guard? And he doesn't know what a 1/4-inch guard is. And I said I need a number 2. All right, so he gave me the guard. I said, you got some clippers? He gave me a cordless set of clippers. I went over to the next. He's cutting someone's hair. I went over to the next seat and I sat down. And he's like, wait, what's wrong? And I'm like, I mean, it's okay. It was miscommunication. I'm not mad at you. I'm fixing it. You know, I told you something different or unexpected.
Yeah.
Anyway, and sorry about the mess. And I left.
Wow.
And everybody in there was just, you would have thought I was Britney shaving my head.
Yeah.
You know? But see, here's the thing. I have spent decades cutting my own hair, doing the high and tight bald fade with a 1/4-inch, a number 2 on top, you know? So to like start growing my hair out because I love my wife running her fingers through my hair.
Yeah.
And when it gets like that, she wants to do that more.
Yeah.
A sense of accomplishment. I want to do that some more. I want to grow my hair out, so she'll do that more. You know, get that virtuous cycle going. Mm-hmm. And then, what did this dude do?
Yeah.
You know, and they're like,
what just happened?
This man is just shaving his hair off.
Yeah.
Shaving his whole head.
I should have been.
You're the first person who paid for a cut, came back, and then cut your own hair in the same barber shop that you paid for a cut.
Yeah,
I've never heard that.
Within 30 minutes.
Wow.
I'd left, I really didn't even get out of the truck.
Yeah.
You know? And then, I think I might have, but in and out.
Yeah.
Got them, let's go. We're running, you know, time's wasting, let's go. And I was like, one stop. 5 minutes, I'm back. Let's go.
Crazy.
You know,
crazy.
I was itching all day. It wasn't a water park because I was itching all day.
Yeah.
We went somewhere.
That's funny.
But
so back to the fact that you're the first.
No, I still want to know.
Yeah.
The question.
No, that's what I was saying. You're the first person. You're the first person that I've knocked on and we've had on the podcast. So as you know, Ahmed alluded to, how was that whole experience?
How was the experience? What was your take on Mihara? I mean.
Oh, you're wanting a customer review?
I mean, not review, just like from your point of view.
Yeah.
Okay.
POV,
So our conversation, we had a rapport pretty quickly. All right. That doesn't happen with everybody. You weren't necessarily coming in trying to sell something.
That's facts.
All right. You weren't coming in scripted. And that is more endearing than the opposite.
Yeah.
You know? And so being able to have look, we're not selling anything. We're not buying anything. But if you want to hang out and chat, here's a Dr. Pepper or Sprite, whatever it was. Feel free, hang out. We'll we'll show you everything that we've done with the entire house. You know, it's not going to be ours in 30 days, so no biggie.
Yeah.
You know, while we are private, we openly communicate. You know, a lot of people don't socialize well, especially this day and age. It's you got shot down. They don't want to talk. They're not interested. You know, who was this weirdo coming up to my door with a cowboy hat on? You reminded me of a cowboy hat, so I'm going to include that in every part of this now. So, but just general opinion. I mean, if we didn't get along well, I wouldn't be here.
Okay.
You know, if the conversation didn't go well, just some random dude coming into my house, I wouldn't be sitting at this table, 3, 4, 5 months later, you know, and getting excited about it. Hey, man, tomorrow I want to take off. I want to go do a podcast. All right. Probably anyone could have asked me or given an invite to come to a podcast. I would have done it just to have that experience. I've never done that. I haven't been in this room with the TV and the cameras.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, interesting experience. And it's not that I haven't seen them, so I kind of have had an idea, you know, but I am worried. Am I too close to the microphone? Am I too
You're
far
good.
away from Am I talking too loud?
Yeah.
Am I not talking too, you know? So my comfort level improved like within the first 2 seconds of us talking.
Gotcha.
You're like, you didn't say 1, 2, 3 action and put the spot on. You're just like, so, hey, Gary, what do we talk about now?
Yeah.
You know? So, yeah. Your question, the answer is, yeah, it went well. So here I am.
Okay. Fantastic. Yeah.
All right, Mahada, get us back on point, sir.
Yeah, I mean, we just went all through a whole different road, and April came in, and I don't even know. We talked about your hair, but overall, one of the things I wanted us to get back to, and you wanted to kind of get more information on, your art. How do you tie, your love of art and also the carpentry aspects of things together, or is there like a split between the two? When you're focusing on carpentry opposed to like when you're focusing, like, how did you actually come about with art?
The other way, could it be homogeneous? Could it be your artistry comes out in the cabinets you make?
Correct.
Okay.
That's the short answer. That's the short answer.
Okay.
I'm going to go back to your analogy with the skateboard. All right.
Yeah.
What kind of skateboard you have?
The first board I ever rode was a Baker.
All right.
Yeah.
What kind of trucks?
Thunder.
Wheels.
I think it was Spitfire, if I'm
All
not
right.
mistaken.
Now back up a little bit. Did it come like that, or did you put that together?
It was secondhand.
Secondhand?
Parents didn't have money at the time. The buddy that actually introduced him to skateboarding, my brother had a board at first, but he never took it serious with my oldest. So a friend of mine in the community we lived in apartments we were at, he had a board, and he was like, hey, give it to me.
Yeah.
I'm a kid from West Africa, Liberia. Someone's giving me something for free. I don't know what this thing is. I've never stepped on a skateboard before. So I didn't actually get my first board itself to put together. And the way I got the money to do it was I used to go to the skate park, and this was a fib. So I would lie to the kids and tell them I suck at skateboarding. Just like how I'd be lying to you guys saying I suck at pool.
Yeah. You do suck at food.
So I would tell them I was really bad at skateboarding, and I would play them skate for $1 or $2, whatever it is. So I've ended up beating so many kids to where I saved up about $65 or $75, and I bought my own board, and then utilized the old trucks that I had. So yeah.
Did you put your own grit tape on?
No, the person at the skate shop I was at did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did you pick out the color?
Yep.
All right. So pulling teeth, I finally got what I was looking for.
Okay.
All right. So you included some creativity in what you enjoyed doing.
Yes.
All right. The creativity was different. You had to hustle to get what you wanted. All right. The hustle was an art itself. You had to come up with a creative way to get the funds that you needed to reach the goal that you wanted. Okay. You asked about how do I mesh the artwork together. It's all the same. It's just a different tool. I can create artwork with hammer and nails. I can create artwork with a brush and paint. I can create artwork with a table saw and a drill. I can create artwork with a ketchup bottle and some paint.
That's true.
That's it. Yeah.
And I know that because I've done that. Yeah. There's a little series of pictures in that collection I sent to your boy over there that include like 4 or 5 pictures where 4 or 5 photographs of 2 paintings that I've done where I just put some paint, figured out the viscosity that I needed, put it in a ketchup bottle, and drew some flowers, like literally pouring ketchup on a burger, and so yeah, whether it's Sharpie markers, pastels, paint, whether it's doing a mural with a roller, or then turning it into fabricating a sofa, or a cabinet, or that floating shelf that we have. I always enjoy being creative, being crafty, and that simple sense of accomplishment that I get from completing something in a way that I find appealing. I want just to be, because I can complete something, but if it's just rudimentary or it's rudimentary means I've done it multiple times. So I was about to repeat myself and just say it differently. But if it's just something that I've done on repeat, like one of the biggest reasons why I don't do a lot of artwork is because if I find something that I like doing, I don't necessarily want to do it again. I've worked with so many mediums that I'm comfortable with a lot of them. And some of them, if I've never used them, I can pick them up pretty quick. Not master it, but simply find a way to work with it to make something that I like. But if I did a picture of a dog, that doesn't mean I want to do nothing but pictures of dogs. You know, if I do a tasteful nude, that doesn't mean I always want to do tasteful nudes. I see artists with a style or a subject on repeat. And that has never been me. That's why I'm doing commercial carpentry instead of professional fine art. You know, because I never developed a style. I never had the sense of business and marketing my product, and I've never really come up with a product that I could do on repeat. You know, a lot of people have asked me, man, if I was, or have told me, if I was you, I'd be making a killing. Tell me how.
Nobody doesn't, in actual fact, Gary. When you look at majority of your artists today, where people buy their art, at the time when they were creating their art, they all suffered with economic hardships. They never had money. Only now their art sells for millions of dollars. But at the time,
yeah. But you're talking about classical. If we're talking about people who do make a living that now, because you can find them.
Yeah, for sure.
There are people right now that make money, and we're not talking millions. We're talking about, I can live on this. You know, right now I'm making just shy of 50,000. Okay. And that's doing commercial carpentry. No side hustles, nothing. I'm making under 50,000. I can live on that. Is that a lot of money? No, it's not. Is it comfortable? Kind of feels that way, but sometimes, you know, there's a struggle. Inflation keeps bringing everything up. Can I make that much money or more with my artwork? I feel that I can, but I have to sacrifice something to get to that, you know, and that bridge is something I've never been able to cross, because since I've gotten into commercial carpentry, I have found the business model. I have found something viable, but it's that bridge that seems really long, and it has a deep drop if I fail, you know. So when you invited me up here to talk at the house, the first initial conversation that we had, it was not going to be, in my head, it was not going to be about, let's talk about Gary's artwork.
Yeah.
You know, this is like, have conversations about who you are, where you came from, where you're going, you know. So when it comes to my artwork, I don't like the most recent picture I did was the ketchup bottle. And that was 3 years ago. You know, I haven't done anything artistic in a while. Not because I don't want to. It's like life.
Yeah.
You know. And so right now it's like I work and wait on a house to close. And then when I'm not working, I mean, I really can't do nothing else.
Yeah.
You know? And sit outside, scroll on my phone, doom scrolling, which is depressing to hear, but man, I'm just chilling, biding my time. You know, we're to the point where any day we close, and then once we close, I got to hit that starting line because it's go time.
Yeah.
You know, because not only do we have to get into the house, we have to make the house the way we want it. We're not going to go in and gut the entire house like we did the other one and just rip everything out. This is turnkey. We can go in and we can live there and enjoy it for a minute. I just mentioned earlier I wanted to take a summer off and build a shop. Yeah. Build a garage in the back. All right. I still want to do that. Will I do that? I don't know. Probably not.
What would you be doing when you build? Let's say hypothetically you were to build the shop.
Oh, it's not hypothetical. It's a goal in mind.
So,
the plan and the plan is a series of smaller goals, you know, that hopefully I want to meet. The shop, I would love to just start off with what you asked me earlier. What would I build? What would I create? And I immediately said bed frame, headboard, side tables, all the furniture in the house. I would love to do that. All right. That's the answer. The same answer is the same to the different questions. Okay. I would love to have the shop and start building the stuff that I need for my house. And if I accomplish that task and enjoy it, then I would love to continue doing that. Sure, a little one-car garage in the backyard isn't much, but you can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
You know, and I've already got all the tools.
I mean, Microsoft and Apple and all those places started in a garage, so you could build a whole furniture company in there. You never really know.
How attached are you to the things that you build? So say Ahmed comes along, I come along to your house.
I'm going to answer that question in even more broader terms. Okay. Material wise, I have very little attachments.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not that guy that has the keepsake from. I'm going to rephrase. Like I have a cane / pool cue that belonged to my grandfather. Okay. And is it a cherished item?
Yeah.
Some people would consider it a cherished item. Me, it's a memento. I remember my grandfather. Here's the thing. If I lost that and it went away, I didn't suddenly forget my grandfather.
Yeah.
You know? Sure. Yeah. And that's always been hard for me to grasp. Like, oh my God, this belonged to my grandfather. I can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know? Or the house burned down and all that, you know. Hey, I'm alive.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
You know, I don't need this to remember him or this loved one or, you know, and all this other stuff. And I'm like, man, it's an object.
Yeah.
You know, and I've seen people, to me, that's trivial. You know, what do you remember about your granddad? I remember all kinds of stuff. Do you remember him in that item? No.
You didn't see him
You know?
cool in it. No.
You know, I remember my granddad being down on the ground floor when I'm up on the roof of an apartment building pulling copper wire out of it after a big heavy rain. Yeah. And it rained so hard there's no roof because the tornado tore the roof off, and we're going in there and getting coppers because he's a scrap metal guy as well as goat herder, you know, and former horseman, you know. And so I remember pulling copper. I'm walking on joist. Don't step on the pink stuff.
Yeah.
Walking on joist, and then I pull one too many staples, and the entire ceiling collapses underneath me. The joists don't move. I'm alive. I don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But imagine standing on wooden joists, and the entire ceiling underneath it falls at one time.
Whoa!
So all the air came with it. You know.
How is that feeling? That sounds. I would be
terrified, and the joists are wet, and you're just sitting there doing this, and I was just.
Wow.
If there's any safety people walking by, this was totally unsafe. Yeah. OSHA would not have approved, you know. And you okay? Yeah.
But that's a memory.
All right, throw it down when you're done.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, the little memories. If I lost that pool cue cane,
doesn't matter.
You know, it's really cool. It's a cool item. I like it. I don't need that to remember him.
For sure.
You know, don't need that at all. You know?
Yeah, I was posing the question from, say you do make that queen size headboard, and I walk into your house and I say, hey, Gary, I like that headboard. I want that headboard. But you built it for yourself.
18,000.
Yeah, okay, that's
no. The way I am, I would probably underbid myself. I'd probably underbid myself, you know, because I think about the amount of work involved and the amount of money. Like, let's say, if I create a walnut headboard, everything, all the joinery's nice. I put a lot of it came out just the way I want it, you know. It cost me $600 in material. I spent a weekend doing it, $800. You know business and you know numbers better than I do, and I'm going to translate. You might not necessarily have thought this dude is stupid, you know, because after you walked away,
this is a steal,
or after your response, that's all. Oh, what I meant to say was $800 down.
No,
you know?
for sure.
Yeah. I have no business sense. That's why I call her my manager.
Okay. The manager is watching us very closely. 1,200. Okay, very good.
And that's a discount.
Okay, that's discounted. How much commission the manager is taking?
One more time, I didn't hear you.
How much commission is the manager taking?
Oh, I get all of it. Right?
No. That's how much commission am I getting?
Yeah. Okay, it's the other way around.
Yeah.
So we typically ask majority of our guests that comes on the podcast, or all of them, what is their why? So to ask you that question, you know, there's a lot of things that it is that you do and you share about your life. What would you say, like, some of your why behind carpentry is, behind the art, behind some of the things that you've done. You coming back to Dallas. What was the reason behind it? And why did you decide to still call Dallas home after all these years?
I have about 8 different answers to that question.
We'll take all 8 of them.
All right. I couldn't make money in East Texas.
Okay.
I was in East Texas for so long that I thought $12 an hour was something. I had nothing, but I thought $12 an hour was something. I come out here, I'm making over 20 an hour, and I need more, But I like to ride my bike as a hobby. I'm going to another answer. I like to ride my bike as a hobby. There's no place to ride in East Texas. But I used to be a courier in Dallas. You had another hat I wore. But I used to be a courier in Dallas, and being able, even at 50, ride my bike all through downtown, racing the cars as they're getting to their destination. The sights, the smell, the sounds. When I drive through downtown Dallas, I roll the windows down so I can hear. It's not that I need to hear anything. I just love that sound. That I don't do that in Houston. I don't do that in Austin. I don't do it in San Antonio.
Why is that?
I can't answer.
Okay.
But when I crack the window, I can hear it and I'm happy. It doesn't. It's not a. It might be a sensory thing. It just might be nostalgia. It might be does it feel better? Maybe, but out of habit, roll that window down just a little bit, just so I can hear. I went to school out here. I went to school downtown, so it wasn't just working down here. It's home, bro. I went to, I would take lunch, and instead of taking lunch in the school, I'd go to 7-Eleven, grab a burger or something, and just walk while I'm eating. No phones, no nothing. This is back in the last century. So just enjoy it. I love the fact that when I used to go to school over here. You got those moments.
The nostalgia
all right. Liberia. All right. What city?
Monrovia.
Magnolia?
Monrovia.
Did I pronounce that right?
Monrovia.
All right. You go there right now. How are you going to feel?
Well, I've been here for 23 years, so I don't even know. It's a shocker, and it's funny you asked me.
I don't know
that
how old
question.
you are, so I have no frame of reference for what 23 years.
I'm 18. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah.
I'll be turning 32 this year. But, I haven't been back for about 23 years since I moved to the States.
Yeah, so you were barely 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
So to me, it would be a shocker. That would be something I've never experienced. If we could be quite frank, the U.S. is home. I grew up here, adolescent, adulthood. So this is home, even though was where I was born, and I lived there for a little portion of my life.
Where have you lived in the U.S.? Where were you in the U.S. in your teens?
So backstory: when I moved to the States, I lived in Minneapolis, brutal cold. My first meal I ever had in the U.S. was KFC. I had a Kentucky Fried Chicken. I think it was a 10-piece bucket, whatever. And then I lived in Vegas for a while, and then from Vegas I came to Dallas. So,
all right.
Yeah.
New York, Minneapolis, Las Vegas, Dallas, 4 cities. Which one's home?
Vegas.
Vegas? All right. What feeling do you have when you're on the Strip?
It smells like poop.
Okay.
It does. It does. No, aside from that, it's very lively. The bright lights. I've never been to Town Square. I don't know how New York is, but Vegas gives me the same ambiance as if I was to visit New York. I feel like that's what I would get from it.
Yeah.
The loudness, the people coming around. You see people. Oh my God, that wow moment, just like how I was when I first saw Vegas. So I would just say just the live, the hustle and bustle. I can say is what I get when I go to the Strip. Yeah,
and it feels like home. Yeah, same thing. That's why I come back to Dallas. This woman right here took me to New York, and I got to go into Town Square. She slept in. I couldn't sleep.
Okay.
I only had a weekend. Literally fly in mid-Saturday, leave mid-Sunday. So there was no sleeping.
Yeah.
I got 2 hours of rest in a room that was smaller than this with a tub and with a shower and a toilet and everything, and it was bunk beds.
That's crazy.
Bunk beds. But if you looked out your window just like this, Empire State Building You know,
Wow.
Wow.
just that little sliver. I got a picture of it on my phone. I'll show you. But then I'd say we rode up and down Manhattan on the subway, Staten Island Ferry, got to see the Statue of Liberty. All that's cool. Walking through downtown, I loved it. Loved it. Now we were our hotel was inside of Empire State, walking distance to Times Square. Yeah, thank you.
We were in Midtown. I only took you into
No. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I love being in cities, you know, and I don't know, maybe I get bothered by less people because of my size or my honkiness. I don't know, but what surprised me about New York was no discernible accent, because everyone had an accent. Everybody spoke different. It wasn't like a TV show, the Jersey Shore, where everybody talks exactly like the other person there.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I walked into New York, man. It was just
Cosmopolitan.
nobody looked at me crazy for sounding like cornbread.
Mm.
You know,
Yeah.
I like
But
that.
Dallas is still home to you, right?
Dallas is still home.
Dallas is still home.
Yeah, I want to see the world come back here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You dropped a lot of gems. Before we close out the podcast, I think one of the biggest takeaway from myself that you stated was, finding an avenue in something that you love doing, right? And from what you stated, you love doing carpentry. I found my passion and my love is real estate. And the way I make my money in real estate, just like how you make your living right now, which is to commercial carpentry, is me going door to door. And as unfun as it is to most people, I love it because I meet interesting people like yourself. So I really do appreciate you kind of sharing that, because that's eye-opening for me. I told myself, there was one adage that I learned a few months ago, was embracing the suck. And embracing the things that you don't want to do led me to me sitting here with you, talking to your wife, her talking to Ahmed about some of the stuff that he has going on and vice versa. So I just want to say and just give you a little kudos for, stating what you stated, that even though what I'm doing right now is tough, the fact that I'm making the ends meet from it and meeting interesting people should be the highlight and actually be the reason as to why I'm doing what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then even though I understood that, just having you kind of validate it is something I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, and it's a lot of people say finding something that you love. Some days I hate carpentry. Some days I can't stand that this thing didn't line up. Some things I hate that this one piece of material that is irreplaceable came up short. I can't make it longer, so I can't recut it. So I have to figure out another way to make it work. It's frustrating, Life is a series of roadblocks, and it seems like I get hit with all of them. I don't love carpentry, but it gives me a sense of accomplishment when it's done right. Correct. When I'm able to do it and I get the results that I'm looking for, that's my pursuit. That's what I'm doing. So it isn't that I love carpentry or that I love artwork or I love, what I love doing is nothing. I love sitting around doing nothing.
The truth
I
comes out.
love traveling. I love to get on that plane. I love landing in a new city. I love cracking the windows so I can hear the sounds and hear the smells and, go to Vegas and smell poop all day just to get that experience.
Yeah.
I don't love working. I don't love carpentry, but it does give me a sense of accomplishment and it does pay my bills, And then when I get that shop built and I get to be mad at those shortcuts that I make when I'm building something for myself, I know that the end result is going to make me feel that sense of accomplishment, and that's what I'm gunning for.
Wow.
It's not, it's
Dude.
not that I love carpentry.
Yeah.
I love the results.
The end result is the biggest.
Yeah.
So this isn't a question that we've asked before, but I'm going to ask you this, and you'll be the first person. What would you want people to take away from this podcast, one, that you kind of share about your life? And the second question is, if you could give someone younger than you, or let's say your younger self, one piece of advice throughout your life that you've learned after you said you're 50 years old, right?
Yeah, just about to hit it.
Just about to hit 50. What would that one piece of advice be after all the things you've done?
What is the first question?
I got the question. I got the question.
We'll go back and listen
Throws
again.
it in there.
All right. Rewind that wonderful bean footage. So, okay. Biggest thing that I have learned recently that I wish I would have known years ago, you love real estate. Real estate was something that they did. They being them, people that were never me.
Yeah.
I was a trailer park kid. I grew up in a different apartment every year. Never had that. All right. Whoever you are listening to this right now and you think that you are you, but you will never be they or them, stop that. Okay.
The thinking, yeah.
That's the biggest thing that I've learned. And I've learned that recently. If I would have known this in my 20s of 18, 19 years old, I am not me. I'm fully capable of being them. The difference is there's people showing them how to be, what they need to go for. Real estate. I'm buying my first home. I'm almost 50 years old.
Wow.
That was something that they did, not me.
Yeah.
I was... I was going to be in an RV. I was going to be in a camper.
Wow.
I was going to be building nice stuff for other people and not myself, and realizing that not only am I capable, there's tools to help, I don't know what your credit score is, but mine is a lot higher than it used to be because I've learned some tricks. Where did I learn those tricks from? I finally stopped, put Call of Duty away and researched it, How can I improve my credit score? How can I get what I need to get this house? I only qualify for this much of a loan. That doesn't pay for nothing.
Yeah.
Where can I get, how can I get what they have?
Yeah.
Ask those questions and go do that.
Yep.
That's amazing advice, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gary.
Yeah.
I appreciate
I
that.
appreciate coming here and
Been a pleasure.
feeling like I actually said something.
No,
said
you
a lot
did.
of
You said
things.
a lot of things that are good. I think our listeners and watchers are definitely going to benefit from this. And I think it's, from my side, being a broker, it was just amazing meeting a person that Mihata knocked on their door.
Yeah.
And getting some feedback for them and learning about your interesting story.
Yeah.
And also figuring out that you might need a business manager.
Yeah.
Help you.
Yeah.
So you get more commission.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you having me.
It's
you know,
That's fantastic.
I mean, well, we just sat here for an hour. Dude, we could sit here for 6.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I have. I could when I did sales, I was terrible at it because I'm not a shark. I can't force you to give me money.
Yeah.
So in other words, I'm not going to make any money doing sales.
Yeah, yeah.
But I learned that I can talk to anyone for any length of time about anything. You know, so if you ever sit me across this table again, don't worry, it's not going to be empty air.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
no,
Love
this
it.
wasn't
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I think
No,
this
this
Yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I always told them, because people ask me, especially nowadays with technology, why are you knocking on people's door to get real estate? That's like the most insane way to go about creating, a living for your family. And I'm like,
I know the answer to that question
please share.
because it's personal. You know, it's not numbers or facts on a sheet. It's not numbers and possibly lies on a sheet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the fact that you came in and had a conversation with us doesn't matter if we're actually selling to you or not. You were able to meet someone and get that interaction with someone and find out their take on what you're doing, and even if you walked out of that door with nothing, you came out with something,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
accomplishment again. We come back to that, right?
Think about it like this. Hey, Gary, you want to join us for a podcast? No, it's not my thing, bro.
Yeah.
Give me back my Sprite. And then you walk out that door, you got nothing out of it.
That is true.
Is it true though?
Yeah.
Did you get nothing out of that?
I got more than I bargained for. I mean, I'm sitting here talking to you 5 months later.
Yeah.
That just shows. But then that's also my tenacity.
But you wouldn't have done that if you would have just text someone or call someone randomly or hit them up on Facebook or hey, I'm trying to sell my bike on Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp or Etsy, and you just, hey, while we're sitting here talking about this bike, are you into podcasts?
Yeah.
You know,
That's
you're not
true.
going to get that.
That's true.
You know, you're working with the same dating advice that I was given when I was in my teens.
And what was that?
Go get yourself shot down 50 times before you talk to me.
All right, guys, the young people behind the camera, remember that. Say that again.
Go get yourself shot down 50 times.
That's it.
The goal isn't to get the date. The goal is to get rejected 50 times.
Boom. With that
You
being
know.
said,
And
I
that's
think that's the way to
brilliant.
close
Yeah.
it out.
Two, you left us with a few pearls today, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Common sense is not common.
That-
That's
I
gonna be
like
the
that.
title to our podcast.
I like that. Gary, it's been a pleasure, sir.
All right.
pleasure,
I'm glad,
Gary.
glad I
Thank you.
came.
Thank
All
you,
right.
sir.
See y'all next week.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching today's episode of It's Go Time. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and leave comments on all of our channels. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, we're on YouTube, and don't forget our Instagram and Facebook pages as well.